Burrito. Ooh. One thing that does make me happy is food. Hi guys, it's Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another mukbang. Today you are watching another episode of Munching Mondays, which is my mukbang series. Mukbang is an eating show, so we're gonna eat together and we're gonna chat. So if that is your thing, then don't forget to thumbs up this video and of course subscribe to this channel, okay? So today guys, I got some Chipotle. So Chipotle came to my city. Yes, it is the first Chipotle in my city. I think this might be my first time trying it. I'm actually not sure, okay? Because the reason why I say I'm not sure is because I think I may have tried it many years ago when I was living in London, okay? And this is like, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe? I may have tried it because I remember there being a Chipotle in London, but I don't actually remember like how it was, what I ate. Why is there two? Okay, anyway. So it's either that I've never actually tried it and I'm just imagining that I tried it for whatever reason, or I have tried it and it was so unmemorable and so not that great that I forgot I tried it. I don't know. Okay, well, I got a burrito. Look at this burrito. Ooh. I don't remember the first time, so I'm gonna count this as the first time I'm trying Chipotle. Okay, so first I have the cheese and guac. Ugh. Honestly, I didn't even need to, I could have just gotten a side of guac because I have tortilla chips at home. I have tortilla chips at home. Ooh. It's a bit bright, isn't it? How'd that look? I want the food to look delicious. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, here we go. We got some chips. We got some guac. Ooh. And we have this burrito. So this one is, okay, so the burrito I got has white rice, fajitas, black beans, sofritas, and then I got like the different types of salsas. I think I got everything basically that was like vegan friendly, essentially, okay? So let's try it. Let's see what the hype is about because I know a lot of people are like obsessed with Chipotle and I'm just like, you know, isn't it just a burrito? I don't know. Here's the burrito. It's pretty fat. Okay. I might need a napkin. Yes, I think I do. Give me a moment. I've got one. I realize like my lipstick choice it's probably not the right one for something like this. Okay. Anyway, I think I need to take a bite of the burrito. Cheers! Okay. Ooh. It's spicy. Okay. Guac. It's delicious, but I don't really understand why Chipotle specifically is like super popular. I added some guac on there. It's kind of hard to eat, not gonna lie. There we go. Is that better? Okay. I feel like I'm gonna eat this so fast. So, yeah, it's delicious, but I'm also like, why is it, like, it's not like any more delicious, I think, than other burritos I've tried from other, you know, Mexican restaurants or even chains. I don't know. Am I missing something? I don't know what I'm missing, but that's, okay, the guac also. Again, it's guac, you know? It's good, but like, you know, so I would say the burrito's good, but I just don't see the hype. You know, it's kind of like Starbucks. I'm like, why is everyone obsessed with Starbucks? I don't understand, you know, it's just coffee. It tastes like other coffee chains and other coffee chains can actually be better. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. you know, I don't have complaints, but I've had better burritos, I think, elsewhere. Burrito. Ooh, ooh. Maybe it's just easy and like, I don't know. Mexican food is just good. Anyway, yeah. There's a lot of flavor, I will say. I love a burrito. I feel like a burrito is the best in terms of, you know, if you compare burrito, fajita, you know, the different types of Mexican things. Actually, tacos are sometimes I prefer tacos if I want something more light. But if I want like a meal, a burrito. I'm just drinking some sparkling water. Anyway, guys, how are we doing? Back with another mukbang. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. I feel like the world's crumbling apart as usual. And yeah, so recently I found out the news. I'm still so sad about it. About Matthew Perry, who is the actor that played Friends. And if you guys know anything about me, I'm one of the Friends addicts. Okay, yes, I am a basic B. Okay, I'm a basic biatch. I love Friends, and I love Friends. What can I say? I love the show. I've seen the show so many times. I like to always have it in the background. It's either that or Sex and the City. I love both. Yeah, I just like put it on, especially when I'm hungover. It's like my comfort show, you know? And of course, like every other human being, I loved Chandler Bing. And I've also been kind of following, you know, Matthew Perry as an actor and as, you know, just like a public figure. And obviously, you know, a lot of you guys might know that he suffered very badly with, you know, substance abuse and addiction. So I think I learned a lot actually from him about addiction. You know, I don't know anything about addiction. I don't know people, you know, as far as I know, that are like suffering from addiction. So it's really interesting to see his like perspective. Sorry, this got dark. I'm sorry. I want to keep things light on mukbang, but then I also like, you know, since I've been talking about stuff, like, you know, every episode I try to talk about a certain topic, and the things I talk about just happen to be, you know, a little bit sad. Hopefully I'll turn it around, okay? I'll turn it around. Anyway, let's have a bite. The thing with Mexican food, for me, is that I don't crave it. It's one of those foods I don't really crave. But then when I eat it, I love it. Yeah. I have the same thing with Indian food. Like, I never crave Indian food. But when I eat it, I love it. I crave like Asian food. That's what I crave. Sometimes I crave pizza. But yeah, this is reminding me I should eat more Mexican food because it's delicious. Anyway, so Matthew Perry, after he died, of course, I'm like looking up all these things, and you know, again, I've been kind of like semi-following him and his journey and stuff like that. And obviously I've always found it so sad, his, you know, his story. The fact that he was like struggling so hard with addiction, and especially in the public eye. I think like we don't, you know, it's hard for people to empathize with people that are like famous, because we're like, oh, like, what do you know about real life? What do you know about like difficult things? But I think most people, when they look at someone like Matthew Perry and like the things that he's gone through, most people can see like, yeah, like he did struggle. Like it was hard. And especially if you have an addiction and you're like in the public eye, can you imagine? Like it's already something that people are like ashamed of, and it's difficult to talk about. And he was like literally being watched by millions of people and struggling with this thing. It's just sad, you know? It's one of those celebrity deaths that hit me. Him, Robin Williams, that hit me really hard. Bob Saget, because I loved Full House as well when I was young. Avicii, the death of Avicii, that was really tough. Because again, all these people, I feel like, well, maybe not Bob Saget, I'm not sure, but all the other people I mentioned, like Robin Williams, Avicii, and even Matthew Perry, they all like seem to struggle a lot with depression or, you know, issues, right? And I think we can learn a lot from their struggles and, you know, the things that they've been telling us when they were alive. Ooh, there you go. With some guac. Mmm. Mmm. Let me know if you're a Chipotle fan. What do you usually get? Do you get like the burrito? Do you get the tacos? Because I thought about, should I get tacos too? But then it's like, you know, it's just like a different form of a burrito. Ah. There's also like the burrito bowl. That seems really popular. I don't know. Anyway. I remember when Avicii died. I've talked about this before because like it's one of those things that, yeah, for some reason, like it's one of those things that like really hit me. And I think one of the reasons is because we kind of knew that he was like struggling like mentally. And if you guys don't know, he was like a really famous DJ and he, you know, unalived himself essentially. And before he did that, he made this decision to, ooh, should I put the chip in here? I don't know, I'm scared. I put the chip in here. He made this decision to stop touring, you know, at the height of his career. He was like everything, you know, again, from the outside, he was so successful and, you know, rich and famous, and he was doing these world tours, performing in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and everything seemed like he was like on top of the world, right? And then he made this big announcement that he was, you know, kind of, you know, he insinuated that he was struggling and, you know, physically and mentally, and he made this decision to stop touring. And then a few years later, unfortunately, he, you know, unalived himself. And that was really sad because, again, like you could kind of see the struggle and the fact that he was, you know, he appeared to be so successful, yet obviously we saw what happened. And we see this all the time with celebrities, and a lot of people are like shocked and confused. We're like, they should be happy. They have everything they want. But in reality, this is not what's going to bring you happiness. Fame, money, being admired even is not necessarily going to bring you happiness. Ugh. Anyway, bite time. So one thing that really stood out to me, so after Avicii passed, I watched his documentary that came out. And so the documentary was released before his death. And it was about his struggles as an artist and, you know, performing and all these things that he was struggling with behind the scenes that, you know, many people did not know. One thing that really stood out to me that he said that I haven't forgotten is he said, everything is checked off my list. You know, my list, it's all checked off. Why am I not happy? And I think this is what the problem is with humanity and like our expectations as to what's gonna bring us happiness. We're usually pretty wrong about what makes people happy because the research actually shows, you know, most of the things that we think make us happy actually don't make us happy, which it's very interesting. And I think that's actually the reason I think that a lot of celebrities struggle, right? Like, you know, we see celebrities that have a lot of substance abuse issues or depression, anxiety, all these things that other people have, but sometimes it seems like they have it worse. And you're just thinking like, how is this possible? Like, you know? And you might also be thinking like they have everything checked off. They have everything that they're supposed to have. Why are they not happy? The reason is because all the things that are checked off are not things that are necessarily going to bring you long-lasting happiness. And so, you know, I feel like it's like a learning moment. Jim Carrey said this quote once, which you may have heard before, was basically like, I'm paraphrasing, was like, I wish everyone could become rich and famous so that they would learn that it's not the answer. Which I think is pretty powerful because obviously Jim Carrey, very famous actor, he's been openly struggling with depression, I think, for years. And he said multiple times, like, yeah, like, this isn't the answer. And I feel like, you know, if somebody that appears to have everything that we're supposed to have in order to be happy, and they say that's not the answer, maybe we should listen, you know? And I've heard it so many times from different celebrities, you know, that got their big break, right? And we should talk about this in, we recorded our podcast yesterday, and we talked about this as well. So if you want to listen to it even more detail without my eating, you can do that as well. But basically, I've seen so many celebrities that are like, you know, became super famous. There was obviously Matthew Perry, who played Chandler Bing on Friends. And then there was, I can't remember the actor's name, but he played Ted on How I Met Your Mother. And there's like a few other instances, I think, where people get like their big break, they get super famous, their dreams come true, essentially, right? They become so fucking famous, their dreams come true, they're on top of the world, they're living in Hollywood, they have a giant house, they're making millions of dollars, they have fans from all over the world just like, you know, admiring them, they have women just throwing themselves at them, men throwing themselves at them, whatever it is. And then a few months later, in the first few months, it's like a high, you know, they get this like high, they're like, everything's perfect, my life is amazing, nothing could ever go wrong. This is my new life. And then a few months later, usually, you know, they say usually like 6-8 months, maybe a year down the line, they realize, oh, no, that didn't fix everything that I wanted it to fix. That didn't make me feel amazing and happy, at least not for the long run. And that is actually a phenomenon called the hedonistic treadmill. The hedonistic treadmill. So what that is basically humans are very adaptable, essentially. In some ways, it's great. For example, something horrible happens to us, you know, whether it's we lose a loved one, which is obviously devastating, just something really, really bad, okay? Obviously, we're very devastated, but then eventually, most of us, a few months down the line, will feel somewhat normal again, and eventually over time, we will feel better. Obviously, it doesn't take away, you know, that person lost or that horrible thing that happened, but eventually we do feel a bit better. And we usually go back to kind of how we felt before. So that's the good part, right? So like when we go through these horrible things, time, and this is why people say like time heals everything or whatever, because it truly usually does, right? But then there's also the other side, which is like when something really great happens, we may feel that high, really happy at that moment, which I don't want to discount those experiences and those feelings because I think they're also like worth it. And, you know, it still adds to a certain level of happiness in your life, I do feel like. But they say also, even when these great things happen, you know, you're going to go back to normal or whatever your baseline was before. So if you were already unhappy before, this is the thing. If you were happy before something great happened, then, you know, you're probably still gonna be happy. But if you're like kind of unhappy and you thought that this new thing was gonna make you happy, that's where it's gonna be, you know, disappointing, right? Again, researchers call this the hedonistic treadmill. The idea that whether or not something horrible or great happens, we're all gonna go back to that baseline level of happiness that we have had before. So those extreme events in our life, whether it's great or bad, are not going to give us long-lasting anything. Like they're not going to give us long-lasting depression, long-lasting happiness. Now, obviously, there are certain things and certain cases where that's, you know, going to be not the case. But for the majority of people, you know, it's more so just like everyday kind of, I guess, life, or, you know, everyday experiences and little things in life, and the quality of your relationships and quality of your, you know, life in terms of like, are you getting enough sleep? Like, are you stressed out? Like, you know, do you have a good support network? You know, are you, you know, these are more of the things that are gonna probably give us a certain level of like satisfaction with life, rather than some crazy fame or some, you know, Olympic medal or whatever it is that's gonna happen. Am I just rambling? I don't know. Sometimes I'm talking and I'm like, where did I start this thought? I just had that moment. Anyways, so yeah, hedonistic treadmill, you can look it up. They've done research on this. Basically, this is what they found. Researchers found that, don't quote me on this one, okay, I just Googled this, that they looked at people that became paraplegic. So people that like lost their, like they became paralyzed essentially for most of their body. So paraplegic people, which I imagine would be very devastating, right? Because it's like you are losing so much of your mobility and your freedom and all these things. And then they looked at people that won the lottery. Again, if you win the lottery, you think you're gonna be ecstatic, and you probably will be ecstatic, and you're gonna be like, oh my God, all my problems are gone, woohoo, money. Anyway, and then they actually compared the happiness levels, I think like a year later, of all these people, right? So people that, you know, had something really horrible happen to them, life altering, right? Like that's insane, okay? Becoming paraplegic versus like someone that won the lottery. Again, life altering, you know, but like in the opposite way, like, oh my God, I'm so happy. And they compared it, and they said that after a year, they all just kind of went back to the baseline. The, you know, the happiness level wasn't that different between the two, which is crazy, right? Like we think it's crazy. It sounds crazy. But that's because we are very bad predictors of what makes us happy. I will say though, one thing that does make me happy is food. That is factual. So that is the hedonistic treadmill. And I actually have a belief that it's almost worse sometimes to have something really amazing happen, like winning the lottery, or I don't know, winning an Olympic medal, or getting cast on a show called Friends, you know, and becoming world famous overnight essentially. Sometimes I think these are curses in disguise. Opposite of a blessing in disguise is a curse in disguise. And the reason is because of the expectation that we have about these moments. We think it's going to fix everything. We think we're going to be really happy. A lot of people think this. I also felt like this when I was younger. We all kind of delay happiness. I don't know if this is some kind of evolutionary trait. I have no idea, but like we all sort of, as humans, we delay happiness. It could be a symptom of capitalism. It could be a symptom of, I don't know, it could be evolutionary. I have no idea what it is, but essentially we're always thinking, okay, once I graduate high school, I'll be free and happy and independent. Once I graduate university, I'll have a job and money, and you know, I'll be happy because I'll have money. Once I get married, I'll be happy because somebody loves me. Once I have kids, I'll be happy because I'm supposed to have kids and that's gonna make me happy. Once I get the promotion, I'll be happy because I'm making more money and now I'm higher up. Once I become CEO, I'll be happy because this. Once I, you know, retire, I'll be happy because, like, we're always delaying the happiness. We're always like, okay, at this level, we'll be happy. At this level, we'll be like this. Once I achieve X, Y, and Z, I will get to this happiness place. And that is the false kind of story that we tell ourselves, and we all do it. I feel like we've all done it, and now we know, like we should continuously tell ourselves that that is not the answer. Like we cannot wait for something to happen in order to make us happy, or in order to be happy, or in order to allow ourselves to be happy, right? Like we can be happy at this moment. Obviously, you know, there's external circumstances are important. I'm not going to ever say that like external circumstances don't matter, but I think like waiting for the happiness to come instead of like doing it right now, we're trying to work on it right now to, you know, gain some sort of happiness at this moment, is going to be a recipe for disaster. So yes. Again, we need to learn from these other people that thought the same thing. They thought, oh, once I become a famous DJ, I'll be happy. Once I become famous on a TV show, I'll be happy. Once I get this, I'll be happy. And they all said, like, that's not the answer. that's not the answer. And so it's really interesting. It's very interesting. So like I saw this interview with Matthew Perry that he did, I guess last year. He wrote a book. I really want to read it. He wrote a book about his life and, you know, the struggles he went through. Because he did a lot of work, not only on himself, obviously, to stay sober and stuff. And I'm sure that was like a big struggle because his addiction, you know, he has a very severe addiction. But he also did a lot of work to help other people that struggled with addiction. So that's what he wants to be remembered as, someone that was like trying to help people and helped people overcome addiction, which I think is very, you know, I don't know. The whole thing is very sad. And so many people struggle with addiction. So I think it helps when somebody, especially when somebody, again, that appears to have or appears to have gotten everything that he wanted, him struggling, I feel like, you know, it must speak volumes, right? Because it seems like someone that wouldn't be struggling with something like this. And then, you know, people can relate to someone like him. Anyway, so he did this interview. I'll link it down below, where he basically talked about before he got the role on Friends. At first, it was amazing. It was great. I was on top of the world. Everything was perfect. And then like 6 months down the line, after he became famous and Friends took off and his life changed overnight, 6 months down the line, he walked into his house and he was like, oh my God, that did not fix it. Like, I don't feel different. And, you know, that should speak volumes. Like, and this is a phenomenon. It's not just him. Same thing. I remember Ted, the guy that played Ted on How I Met Your Mother, he said the same thing. So, interesting stuff, you guys. We can learn a lot from these people. A few things to learn is money can buy you a certain level of life satisfaction and maybe happiness. Okay? I'm never gonna say money can't buy you happiness fully. It always has to come with an asterisk. There's always a footnote, okay? Money can buy you happiness only to a certain level. Once you have your basic needs met and then some extra, basically once you have enough money that your basic needs are met, you are not stressed about money, or at least severely stressed about money, you can do a few extra nice things and you're comfortable, right? Once you are comfortable, after that level, again, there's like a chart of happiness. And this was done like years ago, but I'm sure now the amount of money you need is higher for, you know, to reach happiness or whatever. But yeah, it goes up and up and up until a certain level. I think like, again, this was like probably 10 years ago that I saw this chart. At that time, it was maybe like, I don't know, 80K, 100K US dollars. Once you reach that level of salary, it starts to slowly go down or like level off or something. Like it doesn't go back up. No matter how much money. So eventually, like, this is why I don't understand this like hoarding of money, this obsession with money. It's like, again, I get it to a certain extent. We all need it. You know, we live in a world where we need it to survive. We need it for a certain level of comfort and security and all that stuff. But after a certain amount, you know, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So, yeah. So money can't guarantee you happiness. What else? What's another lesson? You can be happy now and not wait for the happiness to come later, because it's not gonna come if you're waiting for it, right? That's the secret. It's not gonna come because you're waiting for something to happen first, right? Yeah, and I wholeheartedly believe that to be true. Like, you can't just like wait, okay? And again, I know that like not every day you can be happy, not every day you can feel great, but there are things that we can do on a regular basis to help with our overall life satisfaction, happiness. Remember. What's another lesson? No matter how much money you have, you can't buy more time. That's the unfortunate thing. That's another reason why I'm like, why do people obsess over hoarding money? the time. And a lot of these people are not healthy. These rich people, some of them are, but a lot of them are not that healthy because they're just working all the time. They're stressed. And like, truthfully, if you don't have your health to a certain level, there's no money in the world that's going to, you know, help, right? I think this is what we need to remember. I feel like the older we get, the more we realize like our health is so important. Like the health, you cannot like, I mean, you can buy it to a certain extent, but you can't really buy it, right? You know, if you could just buy a better body, I'm sure everyone would, you know? So health is very important, you guys, right? I'm not saying be obsessed with it. I'm also not a proponent of that. I'm sure you know. I'm not like, oh my God, I have to eat so clean and this and this. And obviously I do unhealthy things like drinking alcohol, but you know, just overall maintaining a certain level of health, fitness, that's very important, you know? Because I don't want to get old and like not be able to do things, you know? Of course, like at some level, at some age, our body is going to, you know, it's going to deteriorate. That's just the reality of life. But what was I saying? But, you know, I think I want to try to remain not just like, you know, living, but also like living, you know? So, whew. So guys, it's very important. We gotta be healthy. I think also like, it's interesting because the things that make us happy, a lot of them also make us like healthier, you know, like making sure we're not stressed. That generally means we're happier. Having a good support network and having, you know, healthy relationships around you, that is actually like good for your health, right? Not just happiness, but like your health. It's all very related. Exercise. Exercise makes you happy. It also makes you healthier. You know what doesn't make you healthier or happier? Working really long hours. Not having work-life balance. So, I forgot what I talked about in this video, but what I was going to say is, I don't know if I said this. I think it's actually worse sometimes to reach your like dreams or whatever, to reach those goals. Not that it's bad. The thing is, I don't want to make it seem like it's bad to have goals or dreams or anything like that. I think those are great things, okay? But I think the only thing that we need to remember is that, you know, we can be happy, first of all, right now and along the way. And we need to remember that achieving this is not going to change our level of happiness as much as we think it would, right? Obviously, if it means a material change in life, if you went from being extremely poor to having some level of wealth, then obviously it might shift your happiness level a certain amount. But right now, if you have your basic needs met and you're somewhat comfortable and you have a certain dream and you think that dream is going to like basically make me happy, that's where I feel like that's a danger zone. And I think all these celebrities, what happens is the reason why they become, I think, this is one of my theories. One side of it is that the fame itself, like the fame and, you know, being so well known and being in the public eye, I think that adds a level of stress that most of us cannot imagine, right? So I think that's definitely one factor that adds to this like unhappiness. And then the other factor, I think, this is my theory, is that because these people, you know, they're so desperately wanting this career, let's say, like they want to become famous, like Matthew Perry did. They want to become a famous actor, a famous singer, a famous DJ, whatever it is. And they finally get there. They think this is the ticket. This is the ticket to my happiness. This is the answer to my happiness. I will check off this box and I will become happy. And then they get there and a few months down the line, they realize, oh shit, that was not the answer. So I feel like that realization alone would add to a level of depression and unhappiness that most people cannot fathom, right? Because it's like you finally reach your dreams and you thought reaching those dreams would make you like super fucking happy all the time. And you realize like, oh no, that's not it. But now it's like, what more is there, right? Because we're always taught to chase, Now there's nothing left to chase. You've got the money, you've got the job, you've got everything you've ever wanted, but then you don't have the happiness. So it's like, what more is there? Because at least when you're working for it, when you're working for your dream, you have this like glimmer of hope. Like you have this like hope that you're like, oh, one day I'm gonna become a famous DJ. And then you finally get there and you're like, oh my God, this is like not what I wanted. This is not the answer. So where is the answer? And I think that adds to like a level of depression and sadness that I think is something that, yeah, most of us like probably won't experience, thank God. But like, yeah, that's the danger. That's the danger of kind of like waiting and waiting, waiting and realizing, oh, I waited for no reason, right? I don't know. So that's my theory as to why a lot of celebrities, you know, get depressed. And I think they are more prone. I actually feel like they would probably be more prone to depression because of the fame part, but also because, you know, of this like realization that this is kind of shit. Like, you know, being famous is not gonna give me happiness. Yeah, now I'm just rambling. Cheers. You know what I think this is missing? The side of like cilantro. Is there cilantro in here? I don't feel like there is. Anyway, what do you guys think of this topic? Were there any celebrity deaths where you were like, oh my God, like really sad? Leave me a comment below if there were. And I know some people think like it's stupid to be sad over obviously somebody that none of us knew actually in person, but I don't think that there's anything weird about it. So many people feel saddened because it's not necessarily about the relationship you have with this person. I guess it's more like, you know, the emotions that their existence conveyed. I don't know. I don't know why we get sad over people we don't know, but I think it's very normal. There's not enough guac for the chips. Not wasting no guac. Well, that brings us to the end of the video because I am out of guac. Anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Comments below. Obviously, we discussed happiness today. We discussed sadness and happiness. Okay, and I would love to know your thoughts on the matter. If you have any, you know, opinions on the matter, let me know. If you disagree with me on something, let me know. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Make sure you thumbs up this video. And of course, I will leave my mukbang playlist down below if you guys want to watch my previous mukbang videos. I have a lot at this point, okay? So go watch my previous ones, okay? And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want me to eat something specific next time. Leave a comment. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!